Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody on Instagram now. Happy Friday. I'm excited for all of you to be here today. So I'm going to be continuing the sequence. Well, it is a sequence, but the series talking about men's health and particularly supporting you hormonally and supporting your overall health, especially since this was inspired by I'd say over the past year, I've run into a couple of guys and they've told me that when they've turned 30, things started shifting. So that really made me look a little bit deeper into what is actually happening during that time, which makes your metabolism a little bit more sluggish or makes it harder for strength gains or adds a little bit more stress. So, with that, I have put together a series now that it's Men's Health Month, and I've been digging a little bit deeper. And interestingly enough, different things that I have been researching have actually been able to correlate with this. So it's really a whole body healing, not necessarily targeting as a symptom. So that's what I do. I'm just going to introduce myself. I kind of actually already segued myself into it. Hello, my name is Drew Mulvey. I am the Vitality Specialist. I integrate components of integrative health, functional medicine, functional nutrition, personal training, as well as life coaching to really build sustainable habits based on where you are in athletes and entrepreneurs and really anybody who wants to take control of their health. I help you to also establish a baseline of understanding where you are on a cellular level and a biological level so you know and you're educated on how to actually do the best things for your body. This brings more energy, this brings accomplishment of goals, and brings a much improved in quality of life. This came from my background. I went from having an autoimmune condition to being very sick when I was in my early 20s, late teens, that really destroyed an athletic career for me, to now being much more athletic. To last year, I completed a half Ironman, and even this year, I completed a half marathon. So, by these tips and tricks, even though today I'm talking more about men's health, these can actually be helpful for the female population as well. Okay, so today what we're talking about, I'm going to give you a little bit of background. I think that I've covered it the past couple of times. What exactly happening in men when they turn 30? Well, it has to do with testosterone and it has to do with growth hormone. So I had put this out in the newsletter at the beginning of the month that growth hormone tends to start decreasing after your late 20s, and then testosterone starts to decrease after you're 30. So it decreases at about 1 to 2% per year. Now, what exactly is that doing to your body? Well, testosterone is a hormone. I should say compounds. These particular compounds help with insulin sensitivity. They help with muscle growth. They help with focus. They help, it helps to prevent the man boobs, and it helps to prevent that little belly in the middle because testosterone levels help to decrease those estrogen levels. And when testosterone levels are lower, then estrogen tends to raise, and then you start seeing some of those symptoms. I think I talked about less insulin sensitivity. There's a whole bunch of things. Oh, less bone strength. So interestingly enough, even in my studies and my research to try and improve my bone density and improve my bones, it all correlated because growth hormone is absolutely necessary and testosterone is absolutely necessary for bone density. For women, estrogen is responsible for bone density, so it's very important that we do have that at a good balanced level. But what exactly can we do? So we talked about the first time, we talked about incorporating nature. So nature, you're going out in the sun, being out in the sun, being exposed 80% of your body. And I did say I am not promoting indecent exposure. Going out maybe to the beach, being, I shouldn't say being exposed. Made myself laugh. Okay, but getting yourself into the sunlight, 15 minutes produces about 15 to 20,000 international units of vitamin D. That's like a double therapeutic dose of vitamin D. And vitamin D is also going to help with your bone strength. Plus, it also helps with that conversion to testosterone in your body in particular. Plus, being out in nature, grounding, it decreases stress levels. It balances the electrons in your body. It can actually decrease inflammation and inflammatory proteins, which that in and of itself can help to promote hormonal balance and harmony because it really decreases the activation of the central nervous system. I have personal experience with this. This happened a couple weeks ago. I was lying outside on my blanket. I had my legs exposed onto the ground. After about 10 minutes, all of a sudden, I just felt a release in my body. So it really does. It helps your body to go into rest and digest, and that's when your body is able to decrease those inflammatory proteins. That's when your body's able to have that hormonal harmony. Okay, so with that in mind, yes, we talked about the great outdoors. What else did we talk about with the great outdoors? Well, just getting out there because obviously it's going to help with the hormonal balance and that's going to help with that testosterone balance. That's why I called it ditch the man boobs because when there are fat deposits in that area, it is attributed to higher estrogen levels. And you're getting outside and you're moving, which I'm going to talk a little bit about today too. Last week, we talked about the impact of alcohol on hormones. This was for the ladies and for the gents, that what it does, it increases stress in your body. It can dehydrate you. It depletes you of specific nutrients that are vital for energy, for muscle strength, for energy production. Let's see. Yeah, energy production and muscle strength in particular, or muscle function, excuse me, muscle function and heart function. So those are all correlated. And then I talked about some ways that you could incorporate functional drinks and mocktails. I know for the guys probably saying mocktails isn't a very masculine thing. Some alternatives, okay? Some alcohol alternatives that are really great to like bring to those picnics and those get-togethers or out on the boat this summer. Today, what I'm going to talk about are some compounds that you can incorporate to help to support this decrease in testosterone and growth hormone. One thing in particular is, I'll shoot with this right off the bat, decreasing the amount of processed foods and really sugary foods. Why is that? Because a lot of these foods are devoid of a lot of critical nutrients. In fact, when you eat them, your body has to pull from other places to get them just for your body to maintain its normal processes. So you're not only not getting replenished, you're pulling from your body and you're depleting your body even further. So what is that going to do? It's going to decrease the amount of nutrients that you need that is going to actually help to support the growth hormone and to support your testosterone, support muscle growth, support brain function, and really decrease inflammatory proteins. So that's going to be a good, really big one. Keeping an eye on how many processed foods that you do incorporate into your nutrition plan. Because the more rich in whole foods that you're going to have those antioxidants, you're going to have those nutrients, and your body's not going to have to pull from anywhere. Plus, that's putting an extra stress on your body. When you have sugar, it actually can, that also dehydrates you too. So that's an extra stressor, but it affects the adrenals. It basically overworks the adrenals. So does that mean that you have to nix the processed food altogether? No. One of my specialties is working with disordered eating, and I do not believe that 100% is a sustainable way to live. We need to be able to have a quality of life and be able to have relationships and be able to have foods that are, yes, emotionally satisfying and really, really tasty. So you just want to monitor how much of the processed foods that you are incorporating and then really focus on how you can switch to incorporating more fruits, like incorporating more vegetables in particular. But how about foods that have specific nutrients? Okay, so there are specific nutrients that are going to be very beneficial for you during this time. We'll start with the obvious one, protein. Protein in and of itself is going to help to boost growth hormone levels. And with that, your bone density is going to get better. Your insulin sensitivity is going to get better. So that's your blood sugar regulation. Actually, your lipid profiles are going to get better too because that's what growth hormone does and that's what testosterone does. So with protein in particular, it's usually, Okay, so the International Society of Sports Nutrition recommends between 1.2 to 2.0 grams per kilogram. I'm more in the ballpark of like 1.6 to 2.0, even up to, it depends on if you're in a caloric deficit. They do say about 1 pound, one gram per pound of body weight. So 1 pound of body weight equals 2.2 kilograms. So that would be about like 2.2 grams per kilogram. But when you're in a caloric deficit, it could even go up to 2.3 to 3.2 grams per kilogram. So it kind of it does depend on your activity level, and it does depend on what your goals are and what type of activity that you are doing. Needless to say, protein is going to be super, super important. I was just doing this myself because I needed to make sure that my bones were going to heal properly from a potential injury. And well, that's a different story for another day. But yes, to help with the bone density and help to promote that bone strength in particular. Plus, you're going to be helping with muscle protein synthesis, which overall is going to help with insulin sensitivity and better blood sugar regulation and not so much of those fat deposits. With the, I lost my train of thought. We were talking about, oh, protein. Here we go. Now, for protein in particular, you want to have it every 3 hours. And what that does is it helps to promote that muscle protein synthesis in particular. So it prevents the body from trying to pull from the muscles to try and feed other processes. So having that every 3 hours, especially men, if you are trying to increase the growth hormone and you are trying to increase the testosterone, that's going to be a great strategy for you. So having some sort of clean protein every 3 hours. So that could be eggs in the morning, or egg whites. That could be your chicken, your turkey, your fish, your wild caught fish in particular. That's going to be the next one that I'm talking about. Grass-fed beef. There's tofu and there's lentils, and pumpkin seeds and hemp seeds are really good for protein. They're not going to be like super, super high unless you get the protein powder for them. There is a pumpkin seed protein powder. And they actually have some of the nutrients that are going to be very beneficial for supporting your testosterone levels and your hormone levels, which I'm going to get to. Right, I'll get to those in a second. But I did want to go into the segue with the fish in particular. Fish is very high in omega-3 fatty acids. And omega-3 fatty acids, they're anti-inflammatory and anti-clotting. So anything that is going to help to decrease the inflammation, actually, omega-3 fatty acids help to decrease cortisol levels and help to maintain your muscle mass. Because think about it, cortisol and inflammatory proteins can actually eat away at your muscle. Like when somebody's super, super, super stressed, it can be a little hard for them to actually maintain their muscle mass. So incorporating those omega-3 fatty acids, it's going to help to decrease those cortisol levels and maintain the muscle protein. Plus, it's going to decrease any sort of inflammatory proteins that could be not beneficial for your body and causing issues. All right, so some of those sources of omega-3 fatty acids. So you've got your fish in particular. That's probably going to be the best. That's EPA, DHA. That's the most bioavailable of the omega-3 fatty acids. Now there is also the ALA, which is in more plant-based sources. So that's the plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. That is going to be in spirulina. Omega-3 fatty acids. It's in krill. Okay, so walnuts, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, and flax seeds are all going to have, even some of your green leafy vegetables and a little bit in avocados have that ALA in them too, but they're just not as bioavailable, but still they're going to provide that anti-inflammatory benefit as well. Plus they have other nutrients. Okay, so I will be right back, everybody. My computer went from 28 to 12% in about 2 minutes, so I will be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Find a great topic with hormones. Okay, I am back. All right, hello, I am back. I apologize about that. And by the way, you get bonus points if you know what the reference was to what I just said or where it's from. So put in the comments. Talk amongst yourselves, put it in the comments. Anywho, we were talking about omega-3 fatty acids being very important for anti-inflammation. That alone is going to help with that hormonal balance and also help the body to wait. Okay, hormonal balance, but also it's going to help the body with producing muscle protein synthesis, and that alone is going to help you with that insulin sensitivity and with your metabolism as well. So very beneficial. Some other really important nutrients for hormones, particularly testosterone, we're going to have beta carotene and vitamin A. Aren't those the same thing? So beta carotene is the plant-based form of vitamin A. Vitamin A, that's retinoic acid or retinol. That is a little bit more of a potent form of vitamin A, and you can overdo it on that. But vitamin A is going to be found in eggs, liver, fatty fish, again, fatty fish, and flesh meat. While beta carotene, it's going to be in, think of your orange vegetables. It's even in your green leafy vegetables, summer squash, spaghetti squash. What beta carotene and vitamin A do, they're very, very potent antioxidants. And in particular, with the women, it helps to protect the ovaries from oxidative stress. And it can actually help to protect their eggs as well, just because of that antioxidant protection. So that also helps with the hormonal balance and hormonal balance with the guys as well. So some other great things that you can incorporate that has beta carotene in them. There's dandelion greens. It's also really great for your liver and really amazing for digestion as well. Now, there are some contraindications with dandelion greens dependent on certain medications, so you may want to run that by your doctor. But they're fantastic. Or dandelion tea. I think the dandelion greens would be okay because that's just a less abrasive source. But dandelion tea, that's a little bit more potent. And then we have watercress, which is another bitter, which is going to help with digestion and assimilation of nutrients, and is also very good for your liver as well. Another important nutrient for hormonal balance, testosterone production, and even immune function and protein digestion is zinc. Now, I pretty much basically just said what it does, so I don't think I have to repeat myself. Zinc is actually found in pumpkin seeds. So I was already alluding to that. So the pumpkin seeds have the omega-3 fatty acids, plus it's a really great source of zinc. You can get pumpkin seed protein maybe if you mix that in with some whey protein. So you're getting some zinc in there. It depends on the pumpkin seed protein. Some of them have fiber, some of them don't have fiber. But zinc in particular, it's going to help with your immune function. And zinc is responsible for several other processes in your body. But some great sources that you can incorporate, clams probably have the most amount of zinc, which is crazy. So there's the pumpkin seeds. There's dark meat chicken, which is actually going to be probably higher. Any of the dark meat poultry is actually going to be higher in zinc. So do you ever sometimes crave dark meat? I do. I actually started craving dark meat 3 weeks ago. So pay attention to your body. Why would your body do that? Do you remember what I talked about with stress? That when your body is stressed out, your zinc levels tend to go down. So it makes complete sense. So there is actually a place for that dark meat in your lives. If you're craving it, have it. Other good sources of zinc are going to be soaked and sprouted legumes. So you don't always have to have those in particular. Yes, you can be wary of some grains and beans. This is why with paleo they say it's not, they try to nix the grains and the beans because they're very high in something called phytic acid. Phytic acid inhibits the absorption of iron, zinc, and calcium. So by sprouting it or by soaking it, it does help with that absorption. But you just want to make sure that you're having other things with those nutrients throughout the day to be able to, I don't want to say counteract that, but you're still getting it. And you don't want to go over the top. I mean, if you can get them soaked and sprouted, personally, I have sprouted oats in the morning, and those are also more digestible. But other sources of zinc could be, talked about shellfish, we talked about whole grains, and some nuts and seeds, as I said, in particular, those pumpkin seeds. Now, there are a couple other nutrients that I'm going to talk about today, too. One of them in particular is called apigenin. Now, apigenin is a type of antioxidant there are so many benefits that this particular antioxidant has been able to present for the human body. It's anti-cancer, but also what it does in terms of men's health, it actually helps with stabilizing those testosterone levels, because what it does, it decreases aromatase activity. Aromatase is the enzyme that converts testosterone to estrogen, so it inhibits that particular enzyme from that conversion, so your testosterone levels can maintain or increase a little bit more. Here's something I wanted to go a little bit deeper into this too, but apigenin actually helps to increase something called NAD plus. So that's nicotine. It's NAD. So basically, it's B3. It's a charged version of B3. What that does, it helps to promote energy levels, but it can also help to fight against obesity and metabolic syndrome. Plus, it helps with glucose and lipid homeostasis. Really, anything that's going to help with those energy pathways, you're going to be feeling better, you're going to be performing better, you're going to have less pain, you're going to have much better recovery, and your body's going to have enough energy to be able to keep up with all the processes that are in your body, which is in turn going to help with those testosterone levels in particular. But did say that it does help to inhibit those aromatase enzymes. So some of the foods that are going to be very rich in this apigenin, it's going to be parsley, celery, oregano. There's some chamomile tea, cilantro, red onions. Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about guacamole is going to be a really good, how do I want to say this? Hormonally healthy dish to help to balance hormones. So that's going to be in ladies and in men, because I freaking love guacamole. So men, have more guac. Plus chamomile tea, that's really great for just calming your body down at night. It's a very potent antioxidant, as well as obviously it has apigenin in it. Some other sources include oranges as well. Oranges are going to have vitamin C in them, which is also going to be really important for adrenal health, supporting the healthy production of adrenaline and noradrenaline, so you're not wearing your body out. Okay, so we have apigenin and some of the foods that are rich in apigenin. I'm thinking parsley. I mean, now that it is the summertime, going to the farmer's market, getting those herbs and throwing them in, like, so if you have chicken and rice, throw some parsley in the chicken and rice, throw some oregano. The oregano also is a very potent antimicrobial too, so it's going to help to boost your immune system, particularly. And then two other ones that we're going to talk about. These ones in particular are amino acids, and amino acids are the building blocks to proteins. But these in particular, one helps with muscle protein synthesis. Actually, one helps with several different things in the body. And then one is actually going to help with nutrient delivery to your organs and to your muscles. And that is arginine and glutamine. So arginine in particular is the precursor to nitric oxide, so it actually helps to dilate the blood vessels. That way the nutrients are going to flow through the blood a lot more freely, and it's going to be delivered to your muscles and delivered to your organs a heck of a lot quicker. There's been some studies showing that nitric oxide before a workout can actually help to enhance the workout capacity. Now, that's for men. We're talking about men. So that study was in men, so that might even be a benefit when you're trying to improve that performance and those strength gains in particular. You're going to get the nutrients, and you're also going to get oxygen delivered to those muscles much more effectively, because now your blood is actually flowing to them. So we have arginine and we have glutamine. So glutamine is responsible for muscle protein synthesis. That's typically incorporated. You have your protein shake and you have some glutamine. So there's the muscle protein synthesis component, but it also is very beneficial for your gut in particular. It is direct food for the enterocytes, so it keeps everything intact. That also is going to help with hormonal balance and decreasing stress, because then if there are any holes in your intestinal tract, then that's going to just increase inflammation, and that's also going to be increasing stress on the body. So it's just going to kind of act as a band-aid to those holes, so that things aren't escaping and you're not reacting to things, and it's not contributing to that low-grade stress. But glutamine also is the backbone to glutathione, which is your body's natural antioxidant. So that in and of itself is going to help to promote insulin sensitivity, decrease inflammatory proteins. It's very beneficial. I mean, glutathione is typically recommended in people with autoimmune conditions and joint pain and just inflammatory conditions because of just the nature of where it is. Now, glutathione can get decreased and I shouldn't say worn out, but depleted if your body's going all the time and then no adrenaline is constantly going. It just uses up that glutathione. So it's important to have the glutamine in there as well. Now, one last thing that I want to end off with for growth hormone. Oh, did I say that grass-fed dairy helps with growth hormone production? Yes. Well, okay, so grass-fed dairy does help with growth hormone production. One of the things that you can do to promote that growth hormone and to promote just your overall body health, incorporating some grass-fed yogurt right before you go to bed. And that helps to increase growth hormone levels. That's going to help with recovery. That's going to help with muscle protein synthesis. That's going to help with better bones. I mean, you name it. Obviously, insulin sensitivity, also because the more muscle that you have, the better insulin sensitive and the better your metabolism is. Plus, we didn't talk about movement. All right, so these are the nutrients, these are the foods, but also adding movement into your day is going to be super important. Now, even for those athletes, Ironman triathletes, let me see. You do something in the morning, you sit for 8 hours, and then you do something at night. Your body actually needs to be moving through that time because it promotes insulin sensitivity and it decreases cholesterol levels. By sitting for multiple hours and not moving or getting up and walking, that increases cholesterol and it decreases that insulin sensitivity. So then that also is inhibiting you from being able to get to the goals that you want. There was a study, I do have a blog post on this. You look through my blog post about sitting and insulin sensitivity and movement in particular. They did find a study that people who moved on more throughout the day instead of just once at night or once in the morning and then once at night, they had much better insulin sensitivity. Their weight was much better. Their overall cholesterol levels were decreased as well. So it's really important that you are getting that movement. And even if you are working out at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, making sure that you're getting that movement. I really do. I have a walking pad in particular that, well, I do normally have the walking pad where when I'm on my computer, I'm walking on it. I get up, I go outside, I go for a little walk, I make sure that I'm moving. That is going to do wonders for your body and is going to be very beneficial for your hormone levels as well as your overall health. Because if you're sitting for a long period of time, there's more inflammatory proteins and that can actually increase estrogen levels and increase fat deposits. Plus your body is starting to kind of pull from those muscles as well, but you really don't want that. So move yourself throughout the day. Yeah, I mean, like I like to dance, but I mean, if you do, why not? You know, do some fist pumps or something in the middle of the day. Get a crowd of people to do it. Why not? All right. So that is the talk for today. So kind of recap, we talked about what happens to men when they turn 30, that there's decrease in growth hormone and testosterone, which can lead to less strength gains, which can lead to more weight and a little bit of a slower metabolism. And then some of the nutrients and the foods that you can incorporate to be able to help to support your body through this time in your life, as well as the importance of movement throughout the day so that it helps with the hormonal balance, as well as increasing insulin sensitivity, decreasing cortisol levels, and decreasing inflammatory proteins. All right, so with that in mind, if anybody has any further questions about this, then please feel free to DM me. I also do offer a free 1-hour strategy session where we'll go over the goals that you have, and I'll give you some very specific tips on how you can balance your hormones naturally, how you can have more energy, how you can improve your strength gains, how you can improve your digestive function, and really overall how to improve your quality of life. If that sounds like you and you've had a lot of confusion around all of these protocols and maybe you've kind of let yourself go a little bit or you haven't really implemented these things and it's just overwhelming, then I would absolutely love to speak with you and kind of get an idea of what's going on in your body, educate you as to what I'm seeing and the correlations that I'm seeing, and give you some very specific tips on those things. So that is going to be in the comments for those that are on Facebook, the link, and the link is going to be in the bio for those that are on Instagram. And speaking of hormones, this one's now for the ladies. Tonight I am going to be giving a talk, everything hormones. We're getting real about hormones. And we're going to have a nice little taste testing for functional and non-alcoholic drinks. I talked about alcohol and what it does to hormones last week and its impact also on the total body. It's going to be a fun girls' night out. If you're around the area, I highly recommend that you come. 321 No Kiddin. It's on Church Street in Naugatuck. It's from 7:15 to, it says 9, but we're probably going to go until 9:30 p.m. And it's going to be a really, really fun time. If you want to learn more about what's going on in your body and making hormones work for you and feeling more in control of kind of understanding what your symptoms are, this is the presentation for you, and I highly recommend that you come. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Drew Mulvey. I am the Vitality Specialist, and I work with athletes, entrepreneurs, and really anybody that wants to take control of their health so that they're breaking the confusion of all the protocols out there and they're really making lasting and sustainable changes that are going to improve their quality of life and vitality and also help them to reach their goals quicker without having all this chaos in their minds. That sounds like you. Let's book a strategy call. All right, everybody. Happy Friday. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.